You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And now let's go, guys, here on Katz and Cosby to Don Mihalek. He is retired senior Secret Service agent. Don, we're talking about obviously a lot of issues, but the other issue is protecting the homeland and these serious threats. I mean, we have right now President Trump, who's out on the campaign trail, doing press conferences and everything. And yet there have been enormous threats on him. We know from the Iranians, there was that Pakistani who crossed the border. And there have just been so many threats happening to our homeland and to key figures. How complicated is this time right now?
Rita, it's great to be back with you. I think as the FBI director and the National Director of Intelligence have said, it's the most complex, heightened threat environment we've seen in recent history. The threats coming from foreign sources, Iran, Russia, China, and are off the charts and impacting our election system. The malignant campaign influence operations going on in the cyber world are with misdirection and misinformation and false information are impacting the social media sphere in the U.S. And people are buying into a lot of this stuff. I think on the physical protection side of it, with the borders the way they were, our loose borders, where we've got all sorts of people in this country that we really haven't identified. The FBI has said a lot of people on a terrorist watch list. And the fact that you can be radicalized in any corner of the internet right now, I think is a threat dynamic that we haven't seen in a long time. And I think it's something that for the presidential campaign and for the Secret Service agents on the campaign trail is something they really need to keep their eyes on.
Are you surprised, Agent Mihalek, that we don't know more still about this shooter? Here's this young kid, and there seems to be obviously, a lot of mistakes made, by the Secret Service. They admit to it. And yet, we still don't know that much about the kid. I haven't heard anything about getting into these encrypted foreign apps. I mean, he just did, something that is going to go down in history, an assassination attempt against, the former president of the United States. And we still seem to not know a lot about his background.
Yeah, Rita, it's surprising in one hand, but it's not surprising. The cyber industry, as we saw with the CrowdStrike damage, where like half the world got shut off or shut down, the cyber industry has tremendous control these days over everybody's lives and over information. People worry about the federal government. People shouldn't worry about the federal government. People should worry about Google, Apple, and the cyber companies, the social media companies who have tremendous amounts of information, and they put walls in the way that prohibit law enforcement from accessing this information. And law enforcement tries to work with Congress to create loopholes, to create backdoor channels, and it's very difficult. The last change, the Electronic Crimes Privacy Act, which is the tool that allows law enforcement to get into electronic communications, was changed after 9/11. There hasn't been an update since. So it's problematic. The FBI deputy director testified in a Senate hearing that they've been asking Congress for backdoors into some of these encrypted apps, and it still hasn't happened. So Congress owns a piece of this and should act on it. And as far as the mistakes by the Secret Service, there were mistakes by the service, and they've owned it. But I also think we're seeing that there were mistakes by the local law enforcement that were there. 90 minutes of texting, perhaps not being on post, not addressing suspicious individuals. I think when the FBI finishes its report, there's going to be a lot of blame to go around in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Well, thank you so much for an update on all of this. Such important stuff. Don Mihalek, a retired senior Secret Service agent. My old friend, great to talk with you again. Thank you.
You too, Rita. Good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.